What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Garrity. I just dropped my mic. We're going to leave that in there for old time's sake right there. And we're going to take this mic down off of the wood duck feather box. It is currently 3:30 p.m. and we just got done with season 1, our first 25, I think it was 26 episodes of the year. So some of them were on different apps before, but half of the 25 were here on YouTube, Riverside FM, and on Spotify. So right here, if you haven't watched the podcast until now, my name's Ryan Garrity. I'm the host. I've been fly fishing for pretty good amount of time. I couldn't even specific on and off for 5-6 years, from Charlotte, North Carolina. But enough of that. We got a guest here for the first episode of season 2. He just let me get on his platform. He wrote an awesome article about me that I will link in the description. But as now, I'm going to let Kevin introduce himself and what he does.
Yeah, so my name is Kevin Wolfe, and I started the Fly Box LLC about 5 months ago now, and we'll get into all the stuff that I do, but my main staple initiative is my Cast That Care charity newsletter. So it's news, daily fly fishing news every morning at 8 a.m., and 50% goes to a different fly fishing charity every month, and you subscribe on a monthly basis. So we do a lot of other stuff that we'll get into, but that's the main thing. That's what he's talking about with the article that we published today. So
Yeah, man.
I've been fly fishing for going on 8 years now.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, since I was 14. So.
Nice, dude. Where are you from?
So originally I'm from Pennsylvania, just
Okay.
outside of Philadelphia area, town called Malvern. And so my fly fishing started pretty much there, but I got for my 14th birthday was when I have a twin brother. So for our birthday, we got fly fishing setups and lessons at our local Orvis. And then along with that, as the birthday, if that wasn't a good enough present already, my parents got us I think we went out for 10 days to an Airbnb in Montana.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, out in Missoula.
Dude, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Kind of
gosh.
had like the best start to fly fishing that you could get.
Dude, yeah, you just jumped in right off the rip. You're like, oh, dude, this is awesome. I'm never putting down a fly rod in my entire life, dude. You just go straight to Montana, straight off the jump. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. But let's talk about your journey to where you are today. I think you already just touched on it a little bit, but and you might have touched on all of it actually. Now that I'm reading this, but who helped you along the way? I know you're.
So it was my dad and my brother and I started fly fishing all at the same time. So this was 2016, and it was great because we went out to our local Orvis. They had like a casting class, so we went out to the Orvis in Audubon, Pennsylvania, which is near Philly. And so we went there, took a casting class, and then luckily we had a couple buddies. One of my good buddies, Liam, fly fished before, had been fly fishing. So we got him to come over, show us the ropes. You know, after the lesson, it was like, well, we're going to Montana in like 2.5 months. It's like never playing baseball, and then you're going to the World Series.
Yeah.
You gotta get ready.
Oh yeah.
So me having my brother fly fish with me a lot. I mean, we're twins, so we already think pretty much alike anyway. So sort of learning at the same time and learning off of each other was super helpful.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a good group of friends in the beginning where we started, either they already knew how to fly fish or they wanted to start learning with us. So it was pretty great just learning off of everybody else.
Oh yeah, all learning together. I just realized my dog popped his head up back here. I forgot he was sitting on the chair behind me. This is Maverick. You want to say hi to him, Maverick? You've been on the podcast many times, but dude, yeah, learning. So I got a younger brother, and I brought him fly fishing for the first time this year. We went up to the Pigeon River, and he wanted to kill me like 5 seconds in. He's never touched a fly rod in his life until morning of. And then he looked at me at one point. He was like, leave me alone for 2 effing seconds. And he's like, now figure it out. And then I left him alone. We went downstream. He ended up catching fish by the end of the day, dude. But like with your brother, like fly fishing and all that stuff, dude, that had to have been fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And we were just a bunch of goofballs learning how to fly fish. It was just so fun, and it's the perfect way to learn. If anybody's trying to learn, just get with a bunch of your dumb friends and go out and try to fly fish.
Dude, it's like those kids. Have you seen those kids on TikTok that are building the fort? And they go and document it every day.
That's exactly how we were. It's like, just a bunch of morons out on the river trying to fish, and it was just so much fun.
So, dude, that thing where the kids are building the fort is awesome. That and the MD Foodie Boys, I'm big on right now. But what river do you consider your home river?
So around where I'm from, there's the Brandywine River system.
That's a good river.
Yeah, the Brandywine River, and there's a bunch of outlet streams along that, and a bunch of, there's just a ton of streams and a ton of like nature preserves around there. So go in there and just catch in like bluegill and crappie and all this like panfish and stuff, and then some bass mostly is like what you get in there, but trout more sometimes of the year. But if we were trout fishing, the Ridley Creek is by Philadelphia. That's a pretty big name river there. And that's where they would stock in like April, and they'd stock near Ridley, and they'd stock a couple other rivers and stuff. But we also had or have a place in the Poconos, Pennsylvania, which is up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
So going up there, you're fishing like the Lehigh River is probably the biggest river by name up there.
Okay.
That's a good river. Done some of that, and just up there's a ton of great rivers and stuff. But actually, ever since we went out to Montana that first year, we've been back every single summer. This is actually the first summer we're not going to go back.
Oh, man.
So it's like 8 years we were going out there to the same exact Airbnb in the same location.
Oh,
we got
dude,
really
that's
good.
awesome.
Yeah, we got really good at fishing the area there.
Oh, yeah.
So big rivers out there, like our river systems were like the Blackfoot, the Bitterroot, the Clark Fork, Rock Creek, Fish Creek, like some of the most famous rivers in the country.
There I'm gonna put him down quick. Come on, you can get down. There you go. Jumped off his chair. Sorry about that. He probably wanted to get down. He was whining back here. But keep going. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so big rivers out there were super fun. I mean, if I had to, I could probably do a walk and wade trip on the Blackfoot. I mean, I know a bunch of spots there now. So as far as home rivers, I'd probably say like Eastern Pennsylvania rivers. But I've done a ton of other stuff too. So.
Dude, that's pretty cool that you go to the same Airbnb every year. So it's like you kind of gain knowledge on that fishery every year. That's pretty cool, dude, just to see how like it progresses every year you go.
Yeah, there's a river that goes right through the front yard there. No internet. It's awesome. It's
that's great.
It's like the best. Sometimes we go for like a week, and I think the longest we've been out there, we were out there for like 2 weeks in a row, almost 2.5.
Dude, that's awesome.
And it's just so nice because you stay at home, no internet, you're fishing out in the front yard, drive to the Blackfoot for the day, drive up and down the roads there, and just catch a bunch of trout.
Oh, yeah. You ever been to the Madison up there?
No.
I might be able to get you with a guy. If you're ever up there again and want to fish the Madison, I'll shoot you his name.
Yeah, I'll have to – if I go out to Montana again – well, I'm definitely going to go out to Montana sometime again. So, but I would probably go more towards like central or eastern Montana. I've never been out there. No, I've never been out further. I pretty much just fly into Missoula and fish around Missoula.
Dude, Missoula's beautiful. That's one place I want to get up to pretty soon is Missoula and then Jackson Hole.
Mm-hmm. And my brother lives in Boise now.
Oh, sweet.
So he's done some cool fishing out. He went to Boise State for college the last 4 years. And he's done some really cool fishing out in like South Idaho and Northern Idaho too.
That's
like,
pretty sweet.
Crazy cool. And that's something I'm trying to jump on a trip this summer with him to go out and see him, and then we'll go up and all these spots.
Was he part of the whole thing where after they won their conference championship, they brought the goalposts out of the Boise River?
I actually have. Hold on, give me like 2 minutes.
All right.
Be right back.
This is going to be pretty sweet.
All right, so it might not be wise telling you this, but this is actually a piece of the field goal post.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is so sick.
Yeah, he gave this to me and a couple other guys for a Christmas present. So him and his buddies went down and cut off a piece of the field goal post after it was in the river.
Dude, that's unbelievable. Dude, I saw something on Twitter that was like, it was either Twitter or Instagram that was like, trout in the Boise River right now, and it's just a trout swimming through yellow water. I was like, dude, that's awesome. But dude, that is so sick. I'm huge on Ashton Genty in the NFL draft this year, dude. That's so sick. You got the piece of that goalpost, dude. Yeah, unbelievable.
I don't know how they clearly used like
the Sawzall or something.
But I don't know how they did it, but they cut it up into a million pieces.
Dude, you should sell them on eBay. You can probably make a killing on eBay with that. Piece of the Boise State goalpost. Dude, that's awesome though. And it's one of those things. It's like, dude, the school's already taken the fine, so they replaced the goalpost, so they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure like the school raised enough money to pay for it too. I thought I saw something on ESPN around that time that was like,
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, dude, they're like, it's the first time we've won our conference championship. That's pretty sweet though, man. Yeah, dude, I'd keep that forever.
It was cool because then Boise State played Penn State, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
my sister was Penn State, and a lot of my family is Penn State fans. So watching the Boise State-Penn State game in the playoffs was fun.
Oh yeah, dude, I bet that was fun. Was your brother home from school for that too?
No, he was home the week before. Boise got the bye, and we watched the Penn State game at home there. And then he flew back to Boise for that game there.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. See, I had a rough year for college football, man. My little sister goes to Georgia, and we all pull for Georgia now. So rough year for us. But let's talk about the Fly Box, man. What gave you the idea to start up the Fly Box LLC and explain to the people who aren't familiar with your work?
Yeah, so I've actually had the idea for a while. Like I always knew I kind of wanted to start a business or something, and it would most likely be fly fishing related. And so I actually went to college for automotive restoration management.
Okay.
So fixing old cars, restoring old cars. So I graduated last May, and I came down and got a job here in Florida, and in Southwest Florida. And I was working there, and it was great. And then it didn't really work out. So literally like the day after that, I sat down and wrote the business plan for the Fly Box and sort of just had a bunch of these ideas. So what it initially was, the idea is, and stuff that we're still doing, is I wanted to do one of those like monthly subscription fly boxes.
Yeah.
Where we send flies to your door, like sort of custom order, try to get that figured out. And we're actually running our first one pretty soon. Should get all this stuff in pretty soon. And it's not on a monthly basis or anything yet, but it's the first trial of getting boxes out.
Okay.
And so it's like clouds for minnows and crabs and stuff and shrimp imitation stuff. So stuff for like snook, tarpon, redfish down here in Florida.
What part of Florida you live in?
Venice, Florida. So
I know where that's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I lived outside the Villages for 2 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I worked for the Villages, and then I used to fish Titusville and the Space Coast a ton.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I love it down there.
It's definitely nice in the winter when it's like 75 and sunny.
And yeah. Definitely. Well, keep going. I'll touch base with you after the show. I got a couple spots that you might be able to hit up and catch a tarpon on a fly.
Hell yeah.
If you want to do it.
Yeah, so I'm just sort of getting used to this. Like, I've been in Florida now on and off for like a year now.
Okay.
So trying to fish around here. I just got a boat situation out of like Charlotte Harbor.
Oh, sweet, dude.
So yeah, like Port Charlotte area. So that's cool. And started learning, trying to catch redfish, snook, and tarpon is what I want to be doing.
Yeah, dude, it's a blast.
I got the snook down. Last spring and summer, I was doing well with snook. But I haven't gotten a redfish or tarpon down here.
Dude, the reds are finicky down there, man. Yeah. It's weird. It's like you think of reds and you think of Charleston where you just get those giant wolf packs of them. Mm-hmm. Dude, they're kind of like one-off down there.
Yeah, I got a red a couple years ago. We were fishing in the Keys.
Okay.
I got a red on a fly down there. I think actually I got two on like a half-day guided trip.
Heck yeah, dude. Who'd you go with down there?
Captain Rich.
Okay.
Rich. I was like near Robbie's in Isla Mirada.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he was on one of those. He's a great guy. He's on Instagram and all this stuff.
Sweet.
Rich Hastings.
Okay, I've heard the name. Sure.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So anyway, then with the Fly Box as well, we have the Cast That Care Charity News, which is daily fly fishing news about everything from instructional stuff on more technical casts, but also what I really like to write about is like industry trends. And I've written a lot about and still following like stories like Orvis in October cut 120 or 112 employees.
Yep.
And they're closing 10 stores. Why? Like, what were the trends that we saw before this? Was it like, and honestly, with Orvis right now, it's kind of like, because it makes more sense to just be online.
Right.
And it does not, like retail stores for them don't make sense.
Not.
So, but like what kind of trends could we see like 5 years ago from what Orvis was doing when they were still opening stores like on a regular basis to now they're closing 10? Where are they going to close the whatever, all that stuff. And then expanding that throughout the rest of the fly fishing industry, taking note and saying like, well, here are what independent fly shops can do and what they're, all that stuff. Because I love diving into like the business background of a major company.
Oh, yeah. I feel like there's so much of that you can research and talk about right now too. Like I'm not going to straight up say the company, but you'll know which one I'm talking about when I say it. Got sold out to two separate private equity firms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all the quality it was here and then it dropped and then it's just dropping again. And it's like, if you end up looking into the background of that, dude, I really want to hear from like the business background side. I
did write an article about that specifically. I can send you the link.
Send me the link of it.
Like, I think it was maybe a month ago. And I mentioned that a lot because it's the main example of build a brand to a point. And people, everybody has their price. I don't really care. The first time they sold it was like kind of to an outdoors private equity firm. And then they sold
Vista?
Again.
Was it Vista?
Yeah. But then Vista sold to another private equity firm that owns a lot of their, and Vista sold like most of their outdoor space to another private equity firm. And that private equity firm they've sold to has that outdoor space, but they also own like healthcare companies.
Yeah.
And so they're not, I don't know. So then you see quality drop and it's like, it just sucks.
Yeah, dude, look, my little brother's in private equity, and I was asking him about that, and he's like, it's usually what happens when they get sold to private equity.
They get sold, they fire all the executives, they cut every cost they can see, and then they lose sales.
It's the same thing, dude. Like, it wasn't to an extent to the one that we're talking about now, but I was just going to say that a couple years ago. Did you hear about that wholesale?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. It's the same thing. I remember I was buying those sunglasses up left and right, and then it just like all of a sudden they weren't going through for warranty stuff like they used to. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of went down, but they're kind of coming back though too. I've talked to like several different people that are like it's starting to get back to how it used to be.
Yeah, because they drop all the quality and then their sales go down and then they build it back up.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, it's like you could have just kept everything the same.
Yeah, keep it all the same and just kind of offload your people and keep the same business plan if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. But like I also like writing about, and I wrote about the. You remember? I think it was this time last month, or maybe early February. Billabong and Volcom, they went bankrupt.
Yep, I remember that.
When I saw that, my first thought was, "Oh my gosh, I know a lot of brands that really are just a brand on clothing in the fly fishing industry that like I wouldn't be surprised if this is exactly how their business is structured."
Yeah.
So I wrote a big article about looking at what happened in Billabong and Volcom, and there's the third one. I forget what the third one was, but
I'm trying to think of what was it. Was it Element or DC? I thought DC was one of them. It was another one of those like skateboard and surf companies.
Like skateboard surf brand. Yeah. I don't remember, but like looking at the history of that company, like a lot of people probably didn't even know that those three were owned by the same parent company. And so looking at the history of that for the last like 10 years, what the indicators they saw, like you could have saw in the past, and then applying it to the fly fishing industry, whether it's the same or different. And they're interesting enough in that industry, their customers kind of just got older, and like they're huge in like the late 90s, early 2000s, but those people who are buying then are now like 50 years old.
Yeah.
So they're not skating or surfing anymore. And just, I guess, like a poor transition to a younger audience was their downfall. But it actually works in the opposite for fly fishing. For the fly fishing industry, as people get older, they tend to buy more and be more loyal to your brand as you get older. So
yeah, I think that's the beauty of the fly fishing industry right now. Is just like it's just one of those things you can get into it while you're young and keep it going until you're 80, 60, 70, however old you are. And some of your stuff won't ever go out of style or anything like that. I mean, the technological advancements will always come, but it's like you'll still have your stuff and you'll be able to catch fish on it.
Yeah, and it's just like I think it's in a pretty good spot with what the older generation in fly fishing is insanely welcoming for what you might not think. Like in a lot of things, it's like the older guys who've been doing it forever are probably not going to want you to, lob on to their thing, but they're like crazy welcoming. I mean, they're every once in a while I get one bad egg, but like every event that I go to is just like, guys in their 50s and 60s, sometimes in their 70s and 80s, they just want to talk to the young guys and they're like, what are you doing? How are you fishing?
Yeah.
Like when they would just want to sit and tell stories about when they threw a different variation of whatever you got on, 80 years ago.
Exactly. That's what's cool about the old heads, man. They'll talk your ear off, and it's like you can fish with one of them for like 2 hours, and they'll tell you like 8,000 different stories. Like they've never talked to another younger human being in their entire life, and it's like that's where I've got some of the funnier stories, dude. Like those like old heads that they'll just sit there and they'll be like, "You want to go grab a sausage, egg, and cheese bagel down the road?" I'm like, you know what? I just met you an hour ago, but yeah, let's do it. And then we'll sit there and I'll know the dude's entire life story, how he grew up, what branch of the military he's a veteran from. And honestly, we'll just end up being buddies. But I love stuff like that.
Yeah. And fly fishing is definitely probably the best industry for that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody just wants to tell you stories.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. That's why I have this. That's why I have this podcast.
Yeah, like this. Yeah.
Dude, like that's what I was telling you. It's like my girlfriend doesn't want to hear my stories, bro. It's like she'll be like, "Dude, you've told me this story like 10 times." It's like you gotta find somebody else to tell these stories to. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start a podcast and then have people on, and we'll just tell each other stories to each other for an hour.
Yeah.
But what was the toughest part about starting your company?
For starting, probably just it it's interesting. I never really had a doubt that I was like that I wanted to do it. When I was going through the beginning, I was kind of like, yeah, we're gonna do that, and I purposefully kept it pretty wide open. Or if I had an idea, because when I started, it was just like monthly fly fishing subscription box. Let's look into seeing how we can get that going.
Yeah.
And working with suppliers and stuff, trying to figure out that easy. And then in the meantime, I was like, well, I could start writing articles and I could actually market this and do like, why don't I get charities involved and I could like start making an impact right now from my house on my computer. Uh, so that all kind of came pretty easy. And it was like, it's just me doing it. So it's like everything I want to do is what we do.
Yeah.
So, but the hardest part definitely in the beginning was all the paperwork because I'm incorporated in the state of Florida. So it's like, I took a lot of business classes in like college and high school, actually really great business classes. And they teach you a lot about running a business and working in an entrepreneurial state of mind. They don't really teach you how to file your business owners and investment report by March 15th. Like they don't tell you how to do that. So, and then, so going through that, I was just like so worried, like I'm going to miss a form and then I'm going to get fined and I can't afford to get fined for some little technicality and whatever. So going through that always had me stressed. And like tax season is coming up, and in a very real state, I'm 100% fine with taxes. Like I have nothing to worry about. Whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh, I swear, if I miss something, I have no idea how to do it. So learning stuff like that and learning all the boring and clerical stuff on that side is like, that's probably the toughest part.
Do you see? I haven't got into that whole side yet, where it's like I got to do all the paperwork and stuff. It's still like a side business. I probably have to start doing it here soon because I think it's gonna get to that point where I'm like, all right, I need like an LLC, and I'm literally like my mom. My mom's an accountant. I'm just gonna be like, you need to help me with this shit. Come on, you need to help me with this shit, please.
Yeah, it's not as hard as it sounds. It's just like I'll be sitting, like I remember in the beginning I was kind of sitting there working and I would work, all day long and not really notice it because I'm just talking about fly fishing, researching fly fishing, talking to people who I want to talk to anyway. And then I'm like, oh man, I get an email from the Department of Business of Florida and it's like, you need to fill this out and do this and do this. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
But yeah, it's like, damn, not another one
from the Department of Business because that means I got to do something, or that might mean I did something wrong. And then it's scary.
Yeah, dude, that is always something that like I see an email sometimes come across, and I'm like, oh, what'd I fuck up? I'm like, what'd I fuck up?
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, as far as business plan, mission statement, actual execution of what I'm trying to do has been coming along a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
People, and that's what's again great about the fly fishing industry is it's huge collaboration based business, and people actually want to work with you.
Yeah.
Like I'm reaching out to people who really shouldn't be getting back. They have better people to talk to, and then they're like taking time out of their day, and they're like really wanting to work together just to create value within the fly fishing industry.
Right. I've seen a lot of that too, dude. Like it's nice when it's like you shoot out a DM and they're like, yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's like one of those things I'm like, dude, there's so like I shot a DM to a boat company the other day. I was like, I have no business. I have more business being on the moon than talking to anybody from this company. And they got back to me. They were like, yeah, man, let's do it. Like the guy that I talked about in the article, the one from Massachusetts. I'm originally from New England, and there's a guy on the New England Sports Network named Charlie Moore. And he's fished with like Tom Brady, all sorts of these guys. He solely fishes with Boston sports figures. I shot him an email like a couple months ago. Now I'm like, I have no business. He has no business getting back to me. He's probably got way better people to be talking to. Like he's got like David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia in his back pocket. It's like he's not going to get back to a dude from Charlotte, North Carolina. that wants to have him on the podcast. Sure enough, he does, and we're going back and forth to get him on the podcast.
That's
It's
awesome.
like, all right. I was like, shit. It's like not bad. But I love, like, it is fun doing that, where it's like, you're sitting down just firing out emails, and it's like, you know what? It's like I have a girlfriend now, but it's like, you know what? It's like when you were in the bar in college, and it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull up from the logo and shoot my shot. And it's like, this is either gonna sail over the backboard or it's gonna land in the net. And it's like, you know what? Either way, it sails over the backboard or it hits nothing but net. I'm shooting. I'm in the game. It's like,
and that's how. Like, I just did an email, or not an email. I just did a article the other day on like 6 of the best podcasts in fly fishing podcasts, and I reached out to each of the individual hosts, and these are guys who like tens of thousands of people listen to their podcast.
Yeah,
get an email back right away and stuff, and I got an email back from Tom Rosenbauer.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, so like Tom Rosenbauer is a member of the Fly Box on my, like, he has an account.
That's sick, dude. That has to feel good, though, man.
Yeah, like I remember I shot him an email, and like I shot an email through like the Orvis podcast, like podcast at Orvis.
Yeah, his little thing that he does on the Fly Box. It's his question link thing.
Yeah, so I did that, and then he got back to me, and then I've just been just emailing back and forth. I'm gonna try to get him for a bigger article on him or whatever, or something he wants to do. But I emailed him back, and in the bottom was the link to my website. And like 5 minutes later, it was like Tom Rosenbauer is a member, and I was like, "What?"
Dude, that's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah,
dude, shout out to you, bro. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, so it's like guys who I have no business talking to.
I love that stuff, though, man. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah,
dude. I saw, dude, Spencer Durant, another good dude, man. Like, all those guys with the SoFly pod, those are good dudes too.
I got them. They were in the article. The article is free. It went out on Sunday. And I got the SoFly guys to get back to me. Spencer Durant got back to me. Steve Haig from the Destination Angler podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a really good guy. I've talked to him on Zoom a couple times. He's a really good guy with a great podcast, great show. And then a couple other podcasts I didn't hear back from them, but they were on the list. Was the Millhouse podcast with Annie Mill. That's a good one. And Anchored Outdoors with April Vokey.
Okay. Dude, I tried to get a hold of Spencer to come on here. I used like the info, like email thing from his website, and I probably should have just went a whole different route. But dude, I love doing that though. If I'll try whenever I release this episode, which will be tonight at 7:30. It'll go out to guys. I'll get some people to go over to the website. And dude, I know there's probably 5-6 guys that I could get to go over there for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. And then just like definitely like sitting on my couch at like 9 o'clock, putting together an email list of like 50 companies that I'm like, it would be really cool if we worked together, and just firing off emails.
I love that.
And like getting an email back that's like, this is no longer a registered email address. It's like, oh geez, now I gotta go deeper into their website and find all this stuff. But and then because the best part is they might not want to work with you now, but now you have somebody's email.
Exactly.
Like next time I want to work on something that might be more up your alley, I'm gonna get in touch with you more direct, and it's and I can think of like a million different ways that we can work together.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this first idea, but and then when you approach it like that, the companies, the people, the everybody you talk to, I've literally never been told no.
Yeah,
like
same here.
I'm collaborating with something. Like they might not want to do it now, want to do it later or whatever, but I've never been told flat out no, we don't want to.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I've never really been told like, nah, go pound sand. You suck.
Honestly, they have the right to go. They have the right to tell me to do that.
Dude. They have. There've been a couple like the ones that I'm talking about where I have no business. They had they could definitely be like delete bam, you suck. See you later. But nah, they'll always email back. They'll be like, right now might not be the best time, but down the road, let's do it.
Or like here's the email of some guy in our whatever department. He's the guy to talk to. Not about this, but about something else.
Yeah.
All right, something else. And it's just I haven't really tried to run a business in any other industry, but I can't imagine it's that easy in many other industries. Like trying to work with people, and on some level, I think people with a bunch of like a huge following on Instagram or whatever social media, on some level, I think they're gonna get back to you sooner, and I guess maybe more professionally, because they've done a lot of this stuff. I don't know. That's just my theory, but it's so nice to work with like large people who I've like followed for years.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm texting them.
It's like, great. Holy crap, I'm emailing this. I'm like, dude, it had to have been like, holy shit, I'm emailing Tom Rosenbauer right now.
Well, you got back to me.
It's like, you were looking at that, you see the email, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, because I get an alert. Like when you made an account earlier today, I get a little alert that just says, Ryan Garrity joined the Fly Box. And it's like your email. And it's like, and then I saw that one. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty.
Yeah, but I think my mom, my brother, my sister, I think like
that's what I love about it too. Is I get whenever I put an article out about somebody, it's like I get you, and then I get like 5 people with the same last name.
Yeah, and then like, my girlfriend. It's everything. I think I had like, dude, the amount of people that you're like, because I have like 22 cousins. They're all going to want to do it. So you're going to get like 30 of them for anywhere from now until 10 at night. But who was the biggest influence on you starting the Fly Box?
I don't know. Well, I think definitely the way my family probably, because my brother and I fly fish pretty frequently, as often as we can together, and because I live in Florida now, he lives in Boise, but whenever we're together, we try to go fishing. And my dad he'll fish with us, but he'll go and have a couple beers and sit on the bank and chill out.
That's always fun too.
Yeah. So, but he'll fish and he can catch fish, so it's pretty good. But growing up, my dad is an executive at a company. He runs HR for. In my lifetime, he's run HR for a few different companies and like tens of thousands of different people and teams and stuff. So he's like a pretty professional, or he's a really professional person in healthcare. He does. So he does that. So growing up, we always joke, growing up in the backseat of a car where he was on a phone call and speaking super professionally, and always sort of been around like a business basis, entrepreneurial mindset. Of like coming into the house, don't make any noise because dad might be on a call in the kitchen.
Yep, that's how I grew up too.
Yeah, hearing him talk on the phone to like 500 people at once, and like just getting that vocabulary and vernacular and stuff is a pretty crazy advantage that I had growing up, because I remember from some of my business classes in high school and college, it was like, today we're going to make a resume. It's like, I've had a resume since I was 10. And so it's sort of just from really early on getting that mindset from him. And my brother and sister both went to college, and they majored in supply chain, different areas of supply chain. And like my sister works for Campbell's Soup now.
Oh, cool.
And my brother works for a major potato company out in Idaho, if you can believe it.
That's sweet.
Yeah, but they're both insanely.
We got a huge Campbell's distribution center in Monroe, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister's probably been there. If
it might be in Henry Bridge. It is huge, dude. It was on my way back to school, and if I went by it at like any time around 5:00, you're gonna sit in traffic because everybody coming out of the Campbell's distribution center and plant. They had like cops out there. It was the most official thing I've ever seen. You would have thought the president's motorcade was coming out of there. You had cops out there. Stop! It's nuts. Literally, like, oh my gosh! I was like, this is for the Campbell's Soup distribution center.
That's crazy. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's a huge company.
Oh yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, my sister works up in Camden, New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
It's right across the bridge from Philly. That's where they're headquartered.
It's where
And
Tony
so,
Soprano was from.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, just growing up with like my sister is older than me and my brother, so watching her like go through college and go like doing all this like business oriented stuff, and then my brother and I kind of were going through college at the same time, and like I don't know, my family is just like when I said I wanted to start a business, it wasn't really like, are you sure you can do that? Are you sure it's whatever? It's like, okay, you should do it. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. Go off, bro.
Yeah, and then I remember I told everybody, like I emailed everybody the like business plan the day that I had it final and stuff. And then that was literally like the first day of looking for a new job was like, why don't I just try this own thing? And so I emailed it around and got some good feedback and good stuff. And I remember like my mom was on the phone with me and she was like I'm 22 years old. I got nobody's relying on me right now. No, I'm single, 22. I live by myself. This is the time to do it.
Right.
Never gonna be able to like work all day on fly fishing and go fishing every weekend and do that. Never gonna be able to do this again. So might as well try to make it my career now. So.
Oh yeah, dude. Once you make it your career, you do that every day. That's awesome, dude. How do you like living in Florida?
It's good. I like it. It's I grew up traveling back and forth to like Cape Coral area.
Yeah.
Both sets of my grandparents actually live in Cape Coral and have lived in Cape Coral for pretty much my whole life. And so we've been back and forth from Pennsylvania to here for like spring break and stuff. Thanksgiving every year pretty much. And then my dad actually lived in Miami.
Oh, sweet.
It's actually crazy. The 4 years that I was in college, he lived in Miami.
Oh,
so
wow.
Spring breaks, Thanksgiving breaks were pretty fun.
Dude. You go to Miami for college spring break? Oh.
Miami was pretty great. And
yeah.
Yeah, it was always fun down there. And then moved down here and I love Florida. It's great.
Oh yeah, dude. It's an awesome place.
Yeah, except in the summer.
Oh yeah.
It rains every day at 3.
Oh yeah. Dude, I've been caught out in those squalls many a times, dude. And they're not fun. I was fishing through them. I'm like, you know what? If I get struck by lightning with this 10-foot 8-weight in my hand, you know what? It's like at least I died with a smile on my face. I got struck by lightning with a smile on my face.
Yeah, and I live just like 5 blocks that way is the ocean.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, the Gulf is right over here, and it's like when it starts to rain, you can hear it, and then you can see it, and then you can't. And then
it's there.
It's crazy. And then we have both the hurricanes down here. Helene didn't hit us that bad here, but the Milton one, I was good and my family was good, but the area got hit pretty hard.
Dude, yeah, that was the one where they had that dude in Tampa sleeping in the boat and he wouldn't leave. Captain Hook, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Dude, that was wild. And that was a strong hurricane too. He was there for Helene, and then he was like, I'm not leaving. It was literally like the Wolf of Wall Street. He's like, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm staying in my boat. I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind. Right there at like St. Pete, Tampa, or near Amalie Arena.
Yeah. Yeah, I went about an hour south and stayed with my grandma, and she's down by Cape Coral. And it wasn't that bad, but it was like the day that my area was evacuated. And then it was like looking like Venice was going to be the eye of the hurricane. It wound up being like right between like Venice and Sarasota was the eye. So it's like probably 5 miles north of me was the hardest hit spot.
Yeah.
So I went like 40 miles south. And I wasn't going to evacuate, but the police were coming through and knocking on doors.
Oh my gosh, dude.
The cop knocked. He didn't knock on my door because I guess he just didn't think I was home. But he knocked on my neighbor's door, and I heard him say, like, it was like, you guys are either leaving or, like, dying. Like, you guys got to go. And so I I was like making breakfast and I heard him say that, and it was like 2 cops outside, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll go down. And then went down there, and I mean, my place turned out fine, and so we got really lucky. But uh, it was scary, and I'd
Oh
never
yeah.
really been in Florida for a hurricane like that, so it was like build up a lot of height, and you get like scared before it
Oh
really
yeah,
affects.
dude. They'll scare the piss out of you, dude.
Yeah, which I mean, it makes sense
Yeah.
if you don't evacuate now, it's like the cops got to come get you, and it's like you could have just left.
Yeah.
So
My little
I mean, I
brother lived in New Orleans for 4 years, and it was like right there when they had all the hurricanes in New Orleans. And my mom was like scared shitless for multiple nights because she's like, "Have you evacuated? Have you evacuated?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did." And one day I asked him, I was like, "You evacuate yet?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm in Houston at James Harden's birthday party, and Travis Scott is performing at some bar on stage with like Travis Scott, Gunna, and James Harden from the Houston Rockets. He was playing for the Rockets at the time. Or on stage, and he's like, "Dude, check this out." He FaceTimes me, and it's like Travis Scott's in his face. I'm like,
Yeah, I
"What the hell?"
evacuated.
He's like, "Yeah, I evacuated." I'm like, "Dude, why couldn't we have more hurricanes when I was in college, dude?" But
Yeah, they closed down all the colleges down here, and it was pretty crazy.
oh yeah, dude, we got slammed by Helene, dude. Like
You're near.
I'm in
Where did it
I'm in
the worst?
Charlotte, but
North Carolina.
I where I fly fish is up in the mountains,
Uh-huh.
and dude, there are some spots like that are still bad.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about some of the fly shops up there, and
Dude, yeah, there
like,
were there were some like if you've heard of Headwaters Outfitters
mm-hmm.
in uh Brevard. No, it's not Brevard, it's in Rossman. They had like that much water on their floor. And then they have like a little bar outside, and as they call it, Forks of the River Tap Room. They had their floor was covered. A lot of their guides were like, dude, we're not gonna have another job once this is done. Like,
Yeah,
and like a lot of those towns like got lucky that like a lot of the fly shops they had private waters in other areas, and they're running private water trips, kind of like just to kind of save their guides jobs and stuff like that. But it dude, a lot of them got hit hard. Canton, I've me and my brother went up a month before Helene and caught 60 fish. A month or two after Helene, my buddy Kenny and I went, and dude, like the devastation was unbelievable. Like you're driving down the road to the spot where I fish, and you got like houses and trailers on one side. I swear, dude, I'm not even kidding when I say there's a water line on a house that is halfway up the front windows. That's
Jesus.
how much water, dude. Like I saw a part where there was like a refrigerator in the middle of the woods. Like it was
Mm.
pretty bad, but a lot like some of the towns are open now, and they're like come and shop. Like we need it bad. We
Wow.
need to rebuild our economy. Like come and shop. So that's kind of why I'm gonna go up there a bunch this summer and just do like a little fly shop kind of thing. Go in there, video,
Oh
film, and stuff
yeah.
like that, and then I might be going up there for like a whole like 5 days to try and film something. Just camp, fish, and go to all these barbecue joints, breweries, and film shit and drink
That
and
sounds awesome.
fish. But yeah, dude, so it's like it's starting to come back a little bit. But there are still like
Yeah.
Chimney Rock's still bad, Newland still bad. Like there's still a lot that are still bad, but it's starting to get back to a little bit of normalcy. But let's talk about the newsletter, man. I think what you're doing is awesome. Just kind of, I think we've already explained it. Yeah, we already explained it. We can skip that question, dude. But who's been the coolest person you've interviewed so far?
Um, talking to well, it was fun because it's like the ones that are fun for me were kind of in the beginning when I was like, who do I want to interview? I kind of just like looked through who I followed on Instagram personally, and I was like, I really like this guy. I've been following him for years, so trying to get interviews with them. Um, let's see. I just interviewed Tim Camissa, Trout and Feather on
That's pretty
Instagram.
sweet, dude.
He's a great guy. I just did that article. That was like a week or so ago. He's a great guy, and he does a lot of awesome stuff. He's got a couple good books out too. So that was really fun. Really just fun to work with him on stuff like that. And then smaller level people too. Like, I mean, people with like 1,000 to 5,000 followers or whatever. I try to get as many people. I want to interview every person in the fly fishing industry.
That's kind of how I am too.
I don't care. Really, I don't. It's great if you have a huge following that can get a bunch of people to get traffic over. But if you want to, I'll sit down and write up a few questions and email them over to you and put together a good article, no matter who you are.
Yeah, that's how it's like. All that stuff, like, it's good. It's good for you. It's good for the person, and it's like, dude, like you said, you got to partner with as many people as you can. And
yeah,
dude, it's like you hit as many audiences as you can. I've noticed that a lot too, where it's like every podcast I do, I get new followers and stuff like that, whether it's one, whether it's two, whether it's 10, 15, 20. All of them are good at it's like it's fun to go with like those guys that are just starting out those boat companies. I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that it's good that the fly fishing industry is so welcoming. But
yeah, and I like reaching out. What some of my favorite ones that I do is when I partner with a new charity, I talk to them and sort of get their organization, the history of it, and sort of talk to them and just get. I like doing that because it's like you're talking to people who are like these people work for a charity, a fly fishing charity. So like we're talking with Project Healing Waters and just talking to them for hours on Zoom calls. That's like they're just so passionate about what they're doing, and it's all for charity. Like it's like I really want to work with you guys and whatever. And this month is Fish for Change, and I love Fish for Change. It's a crazy, awesome organization. Working with a couple people in there and alumni of the program. It's really cool stuff.
I'll fire you over one after this. You give them a shout. It's I did a podcast with him, dude. Awesome dude. They're out of Massachusetts, and his name's Gerard. I'll send you his contact information over after this.
Sure.
Yeah, dude. What's the coolest company you've partnered with yet, or so far?
I really like the one I did with Brady's Handmade Nets on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like the guys over there are really great. They gave me a lot of great stuff to write with and stuff. And I just like I gotta get me one of them nets. Their nets
sweet.
are so cool. I've seen them all over the place and like I see them in Wildfly on YouTube. They use them.
You want to hear a crazy story about Wildfly?
Sure.
Scotty's from 5 minutes from where I grew up. I used to work out in the same gym as Scotty. And we'd be sitting there. There's a rollout room where like you do stretches and stuff like that in this particular gym. And him and I got talking fishing one day, and he's like, "You ever been to Wilson Creek?" I was like, "No, I haven't." This is like when I was kind of like starting out. He's like, "I go up there almost like twice a week." That kid has been so conditioned to fly fishing and has done it on like a complete other level than any person I've ever seen since he was like 16 years old. Dude, like he was.
Yeah, you can tell in the. I love watching their videos.
Real dude, like every single video that dude, but like that's just how he is too. He's been like that since he was like 15, 16 years old. And
you can tell, like watch it. It's like how many. Some of their stuff is like here's 100. We spent 4 days in whatever state doing this and that, and it was like how are you? I know he had like hundreds of hours of footage.
Oh yeah,
that he like cut through in like a month, and then put this like hour and a half long great video out.
Yeah. Have you watched the video on like his daily life, like how he wakes up and runs and then he'll
No, but I've heard about that one. I gotta watch
it. Well, that one's pretty cool, dude. But yeah, dude, Scotty's the man. It was cool like watching him. Like one day I'm in the gym and he's like, "This is my YouTube channel." And then it's like 3 years later he's got a Sims deal. Yeah. And like all this crazy stuff, and he's making like 2 hour long, essentially movies. And like I messaged him on Instagram one time and I was like, dude, that's unbelievable how far you have come since we were sitting in the cardio room at University Sports Performance Center in North Carolina. And now you're living in Colorado making like all these crazy videos. And he responded. He's a super nice guy, down to earth. His parents are kind of cool too. Or really cool, actually. That sounded pretty shitty. But yeah, dude, Scotty's awesome.
Yeah, I might gotta get in touch with him, maybe do an article about that.
Dude, I'll shoot him a message and I'll shoot his stuff your way. Then,
for sure.
I'll shoot him a message. Because I haven't talked. I think last time I messaged him, he never responded to me. We give him shit, and then I'll try and get you. I'll throw your name in there too.
Hell yeah, yeah. But yeah, working with companies, it's just like I like working with it, and like Brady's Handmade Nets was really fun. I got a bunch of like potential stuff in the works too with companies that are getting back to me, and there's a bourbon company that I'm trying to get an article with. I got a bunch of questions that they want to do one, so it's like that's fun, and I like it, and it's unbelievable how these like big companies and big people. I know we've said it a million times, but like they get back to me.
Yeah, is it that brown trout bourbon?
No, it's Dry Fly.
That's what it is. Yeah, dude, I've seen their stuff.
I think it's mostly out west. I haven't seen them in any stores.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen them.
Last time I was in Montana.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in any store here either. Because I went to the liquor store up the street from my house. I was like, "Do you guys have Dry Fly bourbon?"
Like, yeah, my brother got it in Boise.
Oh, cool.
I told him about it. He got it a couple weeks ago. So.
Sweet. Did you like it?
From Seattle. Yeah, he said it was pretty good. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, from Washington. But yeah, working with companies, and then like I'm not trying to. I don't want you guys to send me any swag or whatever. I just want to learn about how you got started, and let's do that. And then these are just good relationship building things. It's like in a year or so when you guys want to work together on something else, email me and we'll get rolling.
Yeah, it's good networking stuff too, like good networking practice. That's what I do.
Oh, another cool company. You've definitely probably seen Fish Techie.
Yeah.
The goofball.
Yeah.
So I talked to him. That company is so interesting. Lawrence Sewell is the founder, and I interviewed him, and he's a great guy. He would be a great guy to have on a podcast too.
Oh
yeah. He just the proof ball and measuring with AI through their app is cool, but just talking to him, there's so many other applications for that technology within like fish data research and stuff. And it's just like that's a really cool. I think that's going to be a pretty big company in the next few years.
I agree, dude. I've seen it and I'm like, that is insane.
Yeah, and he told me some stuff that might have been a little proprietary.
Oh damn.
But yeah, but it's very cool stuff that they got in the works, and it's just such an interesting technology based fly fishing company. You don't really see a lot of those.
Yeah, you don't really see any technological. It's usually like complete against technology.
Yeah.
But like that is cool to see, very much so.
Yeah, and I have a proof ball. I've used it. They're great. I think it's awesome.
Hell yeah. I ought to try and get one here soon. But
yeah, on Amazon. I mean,
that's what. Yeah, I'm gonna go and order one here soon. Let's see. What's your favorite or coolest fishing story?
Let's see. Well, the times that I really, really got into fly fishing was, I mean, I think everybody who liked fly fishing really got into fly fishing during COVID because one of the only things to do. So, COVID sucked for everybody who wasn't a senior in high school who liked to go fly fishing. Because, did I lose you?
There it is. All right, it's back.
It's good?
Yep, it's good now.
Good? Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so COVID sucked for everybody who wasn't a senior in high school like me. And my senior spring, I was 18 years old. All I wanted to do was fish, and my senior spring got extended by 2.5 months. So it was awesome for me because me and my buddies, we just go out fishing all day long when we were supposed to be in school, and it's like doing online school and stuff.
Oh, I think it locked up again.
Lose you again?
Don't. I think there it goes. All right, it's back.
Let's see. Let me try to switch up my Wi-Fi real quick.
Could be me too.
Is this any better?
Oh.
Is it any better or is it worse?
A little bit. Let's see. Keep going.
All right.
Here, I'm gonna mark this. So I can... not yet.
Let's see.
There it goes. That should work.
All right, cool.
There it is. Yeah, that works now.
So yeah, going out every day during COVID, and at the beginning of COVID, it did suck because it was like first few weeks it was like didn't want to go outside. Everybody was scared, and like if I wanted to go fishing with a fishing buddy, it was like I was like I don't know, and he was like I don't know, and then we just didn't go fishing. So then the first time back from
sitting there, it's like got a measuring tape. Are you 6 feet right now?
Yeah. And then the first time back from that was the opening day in Pennsylvania is usually like the first Saturday or first or second Saturday of April. And we knew I forget the exact day, but we knew the day going into opening day before COVID. And we were already making plans of what rivers we're going to hit, where we're going to go, what are we going to do. And COVID hits and they canceled opening day. Oh. So then it was like, oh, shoot, because they didn't want a bunch of people out there. I get it. They didn't want a bunch of people standing side by side on the river and going out fishing. So then they canceled opening day, and it's like, oh, man, this is really serious. And then we, on a random, I think it was a Tuesday morning, because we were still waking up to go like to online school on Zoom. So we're all up at like 7 or whatever. And my buddy sends me a text. It's a screenshot of the Fishing Games Facebook for Pennsylvania. And it just says on this random Tuesday morning in like early April, it just says, it's opening day, by the way. And it's like, they just decided that it was opening day. And so we were like, all right. So everybody's getting in the car. And it was great because it was like, the government is saying we're good to go outside and go fish. So that day was great. And it was actually one of the best opening days because it was a random Tuesday and there was no notice.
And, nobody had time to prepare.
Everybody was at work, and the only people who could possibly get out on the river were seniors in high school who followed the Facebook of the Fishing Game Commission. So that was pretty great. And then it was just like that day and every day after that during COVID was me and my buddies going out fishing, just goofing around, being stupid. And then that summer, me and all my friends, me, my brother, and three of our friends went out to Montana all together.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we got our fishing group from home to go out to Montana. That was just such a great week.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. Get any little bit of beer in your buddies.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm standing there thinking like, why does everybody hate COVID? This is like the best.
Dude, that's how I was too, dude. Like I'd wake up every single day because, dude, I was off of work at that point. Like people were like, you can't be at work, you can't be. I'd wake up every single morning. I'd hook my boat up and I would go fish every single morning.
Yeah.
And I was going to I had a buddy that had a boat ramp on the lake at his house because the state shut down all the boat ramps. Mm-hmm. It'd be like 5 guys. We'd all throw our boats in, hit my buddy's house, and we'd go out and fish all day, get back, pull our boats out, drink a beer, and then we'd all go home. And we'd do it every single day until they opened the boat ramps back up. It was so much fun. It was the greatest time, honestly.
It was so much. And like just looking around, nobody's working, nobody's whatever. It's like, man, I hit this right. And it
Yeah.
was senior spring anyway. And like I have like friends who were a year older than me, they didn't want to come home from college. They were having fun at college and they had to come home. Friends who were a year younger than me, their senior years got messed up. And it's like I'm sitting right here, sitting nice right here at
Dude,
the perfect exact time.
I had COVID like 3 times when they
Uh,
started letting people back to work. I was getting paid. Like I had literally like 3 weeks, given I had COVID, I had 3 weeks paid off. Because it's like I didn't really have it that bad. And I deer hunted literally like every single morning I had COVID. Deer hunted every day. And dude, it was tons of fun. Dude, I remember like my brother was one of the first people in our county to get it.
okay.
Because he was at Mardi Gras the week before. And they thought like Mardi Gras was the super spreader event. He got home and him and his girlfriend were like 2 and 3 in the city of Charlotte to get it. And like there are pictures of us playing cornhole in the backyard, and my brother has on surgeon's gloves playing cornhole, and it's literally just like all of us in the backyard drinking beers and playing cornhole during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And just me and my friends, we go and we take our phones, and we had transitioned to Zoom school, but my school actually did. It was if you like your grades, you're good. You don't have to. If you can only improve your grades, you can't get any worse than what you had on whatever the day was, March 15th or
Oh,
whatever.
that's awesome.
So I was like, all right, caught a break there. Because all my teachers were saying, you have to come to this class. You have to come to this class or it's going to affect your grade. And then the school was like, your grade's not affected. You're just going to end with whatever you had. Or if you want, you can try to do better. And you could do your homework and do tests and whatever. Do better if you had a bad grade. And I guess it became a lot easier to do that too. Uh, but there was some classes I liked, like teachers that I liked. I'd take my phone, I have a headphone in, I keep my Zoom call in my pocket, and if they said something, I'd take it out, and then I would like show everybody like I'm at the river, but the answer is 550.
And the teacher was probably like, dude, this is awesome. Dude, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. It was so great.
Oh yeah. Dude,
uh, Summer rolled around, and it was just like that was probably the best spring and summer of fishing just because you had nothing else to do. All my friends were around and doing nothing, and all we did was fish and just driving around and somebody's mom's car going to a fishing spot. It's like this is so much fun.
that's awesome. Dude, yeah, COVID. We gotta have another pandemic again. I might try and go and cook something up in my sink, see if I can cook up another pandemic, but not make it as bad so we can all fish again.
Oh, yeah, just a fishing pandemic.
Yeah, dude, the fish demic, the mercury virus.
I've actually written about that too. Getting all the stats down from the fly fishing industry, with the fishing industry and fly fishing went up by a ton
Oh,
during
dude, it was unbelievable.
it pretty much rises like maybe 100,000 people a year. And right now it's sitting at like 8.1 million Americans have fly fish, say they fly fish,
Yeah,
and it rises like 100,000 a year. And from COVID, it came up like 1.1 million people tried it just in like 2020 summer, and it was pretty crazy. So it's fun looking at like the numbers of that, and then I'm trying to do a bunch of research, and there hasn't been a lot of research since then about how many of them actually retained their
yeah,
fly fishing skills, because you can see it pretty easily in like if you look at rods. If you look at what I use as a lot of indicators and stuff is the what did the Orvis Clearwater do,
yeah,
because that's what everybody buys. And like so I look like the Orvis Clearwater clearly spiked in 2020 because everybody was going to Orvis and buying like what did those rods do, and then you
yeah.
can base off of how many people in the industry joined, and then I'm trying to figure out how many of those people have actually stayed fly fishermen rather than they tried it like once or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty.
That's always fun
That's
diving
pretty
into.
cool though.
Yeah.
But This is the one. This is probably the coolest segment I do every podcast, and I have had some absolutely wild answers. What are your 5 go-to fishing songs? And I'm gonna add them to my Trout Tunes playlist.
Is this playlist on like Spotify? Like,
Hell yeah, dude, it is.
Yeah, I'll have to get on that.
Dude, yeah, I'll send it to you.
Let's see. Top 5?
Yep.
Well, I'll go. Well, during the time of COVID and stuff, being around all my buddies, windows down in somebody's mom's car, blasting dumb old country music was pretty much the vibe.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's always great.
A couple of my buddies really like Merle Haggard, so I have to say Fight Inside of Me, Merle Haggard.
Oh, it's a beautiful song.
That's a good one. It's All Going to Pot, Willie Nelson is a good one.
Let's see. What was that one? It all goes in the pot?
It's All Going to Pot.
Oh, that is a good one.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
That's a good. I'm just trying to think of being in that car.
What was he getting into in that car, big dog?
It's just a funny song. Willie Nelson like ruled our radio that whole my entire high school experience.
Oh yeah.
And then you know what? George Strait's album, Honky Tonk Time Machine, came out in 2019. So my senior year, every little honky tonk bar.
That was a banger.
That was the best song.
That was a banger.
Yeah,
I always forget about that song.
That's such a good song. That didn't win Album of the Year that year, and I don't know how.
I don't either. Dude, it was so good.
Country Music Awards, it was such a good album.
Dude, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And then, let's see. Well, that's 3. So when I'm down here, I got to do a Jimmy Buffett one. Let's do Breathe In, Breathe Out, Move On by Jimmy Buffett is a good one. I like that one. Because, yeah, when I'm down here, Jimmy Buffett, pretty much. Jimmy Buffett, Zach Brown Band, Out on the Boat, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Classic beach vibes. And, I got to have the Grateful Dead in there.
Oh, yeah, dude. I love the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead. Let's go Uncle John's Band. That's probably my favorite.
That is a good one, dude.
So good. But yeah, if you haven't tried, go out to the river with the JBL and hit shuffle on the Grateful Dead for 7 hours.
Oh, dude, I always do it.
It'll be the best vibe ever.
I always do it, dude. That or Billy Strings.
Yeah.
Do you like Billy Strings?
I like Billy Strings. Yeah,
dude, look up The Grass is Dead on Spotify. It is literally like the Grateful Dead and Billy Strings had a love child. And
that's awesome.
Dude, it is all bluegrass covers of Grateful Dead songs. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, it's all that and then Garcia Band songs too. And then I'm going to see Leftover Salmon this July.
That's fun.
Yeah, if you've ever listened to Leftover Salmon. I listen to all those.
Where's that at? Is that in Charlotte?
Yeah, it's in Charlotte. And if you want to hear another good one, look up Jammy Buffett on YouTube. You'll like Jammy Buffett too. Buffett? Yeah, dude. It's like Grateful Dead and Jimmy Buffett's love child. That's a good one too.
Hell yeah.
But who do you want to thank, and how can someone get a hold of you if they're interested in supporting the cause, man? I'll link everything in the bio too.
Yeah, you can find me through the article I did for you. Find me on Instagram at the Fly Box LLC or TikTok, Instagram, Fly Box LLC, or my website is theflyboxllc.com. So
sweet, man.
Thank you to you and all your sponsors, and I love watching your stuff. And I think the first full episode I listened to you was the David, your one you did with David.
That dude's the man. He's cool.
Really good show. But I'm gonna have to start listening to this one more consistently.
Yeah, dude. Let me know if you ever need anything. And but here I'm just but thank you for coming on, man. I'll have it out by 7:30, and until the next episode, as always, go and wrangle some trout. All right, and then
we'll do.
Let's see.